Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. Now the recent buzz this week has been the fact that director Tim Miller has exited Deadpool 2 due to creative differences with star Ryan Reynolds. Now there have been a number of reasons as to why Tim Miller exited the project. Apparently Tim Miller wanted to take the sequel to Deadpool in a more serious tone, as opposed to Ryan Reynolds wanting to take it in the more funnier, wisecracking Deadpool tone, kind of making fun of superhero sequels. And that's what Deadpool's supposed to be about. That's what his character has essentially always been about. One of the biggest rumors that I've heard on the creative differences is Tim Miller wanting Kyle Chandler to play the character of Cable. I mean, come on guys, do you think Kyle Chandler really looks like the character of Cable? Not saying that the man is a bad actor, he's very, very good in the stuff that I have seen him in, but as far as playing the character of Cable in a Deadpool sequel, no, I'm not buying it. Another rumor circulating around the internet is that Tim Miller wanted 3 times the budget for the sequel than he did on the first movie. The first movie, which came out in February of this year, had a budget of $58 million. $58 million, that's not a lot of money compared to big budget movies these days, especially with the money that Deadpool ranked in. Deadpool ranked in over $768 million worldwide. That's a lot of money. So with a budget of $58 million, they made all of that money back and then some. And obviously Ryan Reynolds disagreed with that. In a way, I can kind of understand where the two are coming from. I can kind of side with both of them. I can kind of understand where Tim Miller wanted to have a bigger budget for this movie. He made all that money back, like I said, from the first movie, that they kind of deserve a bigger budget. You can do a lot more with it, and I'm sure that's probably what he was trying to get at. You know, thinking he can probably do a lot more in this movie with the bigger budget, as opposed to stuff that he probably couldn't do in the first movie with the budget that they had. But then again, you also have to think, if they were given a bigger budget and they did a whole lot of stuff different in this movie that they couldn't do with the budget they had in the first movie, would it be a better movie? You can invest hundreds of millions of dollars into Deadpool 2 and it could still turn out to be a bad movie. I can understand why Ryan Reynolds didn't want a bigger budget. He wanted to keep it around the same, maybe a little more, to make the same movie. And that's a problem with a lot of big budget movies these days. So much money is invested into it thinking that they can make it bigger and better than the previous movie, and that's not always the case. Something new about this Deadpool sequel is that Ryan Reynolds has now become one of the producers, and in a way he kind of deserves it. I mean, think about it, Ryan Reynolds did a lot to get this movie started in the first place. All the marketing stuff behind this movie was all him. Not to mention, Ryan Reynolds has wanted to play the character of Deadpool since 2007. He got to play the part in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine, but that ruined the character. He deserves to have a say in this movie. He deserves to have a say in how it goes. Now, I'm not saying that Ryan Reynolds was right, and I'm not saying that Tim Miller was right. And I'm also not saying that neither one of them were wrong. But it does sound like they both had 2 different visions for how the sequel to Deadpool is supposed to be. And I mean, honestly, think about it. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. He's Deadpool now. Now, as of right now, there has been no set director to replace Tim Miller on this movie. They have been front-running David Leitch as director. Did I say that right? David Leitch? Yeah, anyway, he's the guy that directed John Wick. In my opinion, I think that would be a perfect director. Speaking of directors, apparently there's an online petition going around for Quentin Tarantino to direct the Deadpool sequel. Fuck no. I'm sorry, I love Quentin Tarantino. I think he's a brilliant director. I love Quentin Tarantino's style of movies, but him directing a Deadpool sequel, that is not him. Some other names of directors that got thrown around were Kevin Smith and Matthew Vaughn. Now, in my opinion, aside from David Leitch, I think that Matthew Vaughn would be a perfect choice to direct Deadpool 2. For those of you that don't know who he is, he directed Kick-Ass, the first Kick-Ass. If he can do with Deadpool 2 what he did with Kick-Ass, that movie would be fucking awesome. Now, as far as Kevin Smith goes, I would be willing to give him a chance if he were hired on to direct the sequel. Smith knows a lot about comics, he's wrote them, and most of his movies consist of generally pop culture and pop culture references. So yeah, I think he'd be a good choice. Picture how funny it would be to see Deadpool walk into the Quick Stop and buy a drink, and he walks out, and you see Jay and Silent Bob just standing there watching him, and then Jay says one of his smart-ass comments like he always does in the movies. I'm not saying that would happen if Kevin Smith became the director, but I think it would be an idea that would be thrown around, and I think that's something that Ryan Reynolds would be all about doing. I'm hoping that the movie does still get made. I hope they decide on a director soon, but I also hope that they can take their time and decide on a good director. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know who you think would be a good choice to direct the Deadpool Deadpool sequel. Also, what are your thoughts and opinions on Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds having creative differences? Do you think Tim Miller is in the right? Do you think Ryan Reynolds is in the right? Or do you think they're both just in the wrong in general? Let me know down below. And as usual, thanks for watching and subscribe.